Hi students, hope you all are doing good. We will continue with NEET level MCQs of the chapter Electric Potential and Capacitance. Last video, the last question which I did, okay, I would like to repeat it, and it was based on something called law of conservation of mechanical energy. More problems we will be doing today, which will be based on that concept. Okay, law of conservation of mechanical energy. When I say mechanical energy, it means only kinetic energy plus potential energy. Okay, students? So now, how this law is derived is very simple. In first PU, we have done already. Let me just quickly revise. Suppose many forces are acting on a body, many forces. Okay, then if this body is moving by some displacement, then these forces will do work. According to something called work energy theorem, work done by all forces equals delta K. Work done by all forces equals delta K. Delta K means change in kinetic energy. Okay. Now, what are the forces which may be acting? Some of them will be conservative forces and some of them will be external forces which may not be conservative. So this is conservative forces like gravity is a conservative force, spring force is conservative force, electrostatic force is conservative force. So work done by conservative forces plus work done by other forces should be equal to delta T. Okay, now if only conservative forces are present, if only conservative forces do work, okay, if only conservative forces do work, that means work done by other forces are zero. So there is no Pankaj sir pushing the object. Okay, external forces are not there. It can be gravitational, it can be electrostatic, it can be spring force. These are the three conservative forces which we know till now. So then if other forces are not doing work, then this will be zero. So what will you get now? Work done by conservative force will be delta K. Correct now? Now go back and remember how many times I have told you work done by any conservative force is always minus of change in potential energy. Minus of change in potential energy equals to delta K. So if I now open, what is the meaning of change in potential energy? Final potential energy minus initial potential energy. And what is the meaning of change in kinetic energy? Final kinetic energy minus initial kinetic energy. Correct na? Minus U2, you take that side, it will become plus U2. So K2 plus U2. Minus U2, I took that side. Now you bring minus K1 this side. K1 and minus minus will be plus U1. Understood? Now what is this quantity? This is the total mechanical energy, right? This is the total mechanical energy initially, E1. Okay, students, let me adjust slightly. And this is the total mechanical energy finally. So what this is showing to you? This is showing to you that if there are only conservative forces which do work, then you can always write sum of kinetic energy plus potential energy at some position should be equal to kinetic energy plus potential energy at another position. Understood? So this is initial total mechanical energy. This is final total mechanical energy, and that should be equal. That is the meaning of conservation of mechanical energy. So please remember this kind of laws because we will be solving many problems based on such laws. Okay. So last class, if you remember the problem which we did, there were two charges, identical charges having same mass. Okay. So let me remind you of the question number. It was question number 43. Yes, question number 43. Okay, NEET level. So the question says two identical particles of mass m and charge q are shot at each other from a very large distance. So one particle has charge q, mass m, another particle has charge q, mass m, and they are shot towards each other from very large distance. Very large distance means you can take this separation as infinity. Now they have been given some initial speed or velocity, you can say v. So they have been shot towards each other with what speed? V speed, like this. Okay, so if this is how it is, like this they are shooting. So what will happen? They will come closer, closer. But since these are like charges, what will happen as they come closer? They will repel each other. So when this charge is coming this side, force will be this side. And when this charge is coming this side, force will be this side. Electrostatic force. And therefore what will happen? These charges will slow down. Slow down means what? Kinetic energy will decrease. So at some point they will reach like this and then return. They will return at some point. So when they are returning, here what is the final velocity here? 0. And this also is 0. Understood? So what is the minimum separation between the two charges? When they reach here, that time the separation will be minimum, r, let's say, and this r we have to find. Okay, so look carefully now. This is our initial situation and this is our final situation. So what is the kinetic energy here? Half mv square, and for this particle also half mv square. What is the potential energy? Since the distance is infinity and we have chosen infinity as what? Reference of potential energy. So when these two are infinitely far, potential energy is 0. And when they reach here, this position, since both of them have stopped momentarily, after that they will go back. At this position, you can see velocity has become 0. So kinetic energy for both of them will be 0. And now they are at some distance r, right? So at that distance, what will be potential energy? 1 by 4 pi epsilon naught q1 q2, which is given as qq divided by distance between them, which is r. Right? I hope you remember this formula. This is the formula for potential energy of two charges at a distance r. Okay, students. So this is like your k1, this is your u1, this is your k2, this is your u2. Right? Just now I explained k1 plus u1 initially should be equal to k2 plus u2 finally. So from here you can see this will become mv square. Right? Half plus half will be 1, and that side you will get q square by 4 pi epsilon naught r. So since they asked you velocity, or they asked you separation, so cross multiply, r will come here and mv square will come here. So this is the minimum separation between the charges, minimum separation. Okay, so this is something I hope you understood. Why velocity here is 0, right? It is like throwing a body up against gravity. So as it keeps going up, gravity is pulling it down. No. So what happens? It slows down, stops, and then comes back. So whenever a body returns, whenever a body returns, at the point of return, the velocity has to be 0 momentarily. So what we did is we used mechanical and law of conservation of mechanical energy between this and this. Today I will after doing 43 we should do 44, but I will do some variations of this question, some variations. Okay, they may change some few things. So I want all of you to try first. Okay, so without seeing the video, pause the video and first try to solve the problem yourself. So let us say one charge is q and I say it is fixed. So somebody is holding this, you think, or it has been nailed. So somehow this charge is kept fixed. And from very large distance, this is extra question, okay, extra. Another identical particle with charge q and mass m is thrown towards this particle with speed v. Your question is to find the minimum separation between the two charges. So how will we find the minimum separation? Try this yourself, all of you. Okay. So let us see how to do. as this comes towards this particle, what will happen? Force will be this side, opposite. Why? Because these are like charges. So like charges will repel each other, right? So when this particle is coming this side, force will be in opposite direction. That means this will slow down. But this particle, nothing will happen because it is fixed, they told, fixed. So what will happen is, after some time, this particle will come like this and then return. So when it returns, what happened to its velocity? It became 0. And that time, this is the minimum separation. This r is your minimum separation, which they are asking in the question, right? So let us use law of conservation of mechanical energy. Why we can use this? Because the only forces are electrostatic forces, and electrostatic forces are conservative forces. So there are no external forces, right? Pankaj sir is not moving the charge in this problem. Okay. So what is the initial kinetic energy here? Half m v square. And what was the potential energy here? Well, this distance was large. So when we say large, you can take it as infinity. Right, students? So that time the potential energy at infinity is 0. So this is 0. And when it reaches this position, when this charge reaches this position, what will be kinetic energy? 0. Because it has come to stop momentarily. And when it reaches here, what is the separation? R. So what would be potential energy? 1 by 4 pi epsilon naught QQ by R. Okay. So then you want to find R. So you can write R as Q square by 4 pi epsilon naught. MV square will come down. This 2 will go up, right? This R will come here. 2 will go this side. And then you can cancel 2 and 4. So you will get here 2. So that would be the answer if one of the charge was fixed. Okay. So please do this extra question also. Write it down. Okay. Now let us repeat the same question, but we will not keep the particle fixed. Okay, very interesting now. So listen carefully. This is a particle, extra again. This is a particle whose charge is q, mass is m. But it is not fixed. Not fixed. However, right now it is at rest. Right now this particle is at rest. Okay. Now from very large distance, infinity you can take, another identical particle, same charge, same mass, is thrown towards this with a velocity v. Now the question is same. What is the minimum separation? Now how will you do this problem? Okay, think. Now be careful. As this particle will start coming like this will slow down because force will be this way. Right, students? So the moment this particle starts coming near to this particle, this will feel force this side and this will feel force this side. In the initial problem which I did, the previous problem, this was fixed. So nothing happened. But now this is not fixed. So what will happen because of this force? Now this particle which is at rest, if it feels a force this side, what will happen? It will accelerate according to Newton's second law. So basically the situation is like this. Right now this is at rest and this is coming with velocity. Let us assume right now 10 meter per second. Okay, right now just an example. The moment this starts coming close, this will feel force this side. This will feel force this side. Repulsive force, right? So this will slow down. So as it comes nearer, this velocity after some time will become, let's say, 8 meter per second. 8 meter per second. And what about this particle? This will now start moving. It was at rest. No, if you are at rest and somebody pushes you, you will start moving. So it will accelerate and its velocity has become 2 meter per second, let's say, after some time. Who is moving faster, this particle or this particle? This particle is moving faster. So imagine this is particle 1, this is particle 2. Imagine this is you, this is your friend. Okay. Initially you were at rest, your friend was moving. So this gap was decreasing. Because of these forces, now you will start moving. And this is already moving, right? However, even if you are moving, your friend is moving faster still. This is moving faster. So what will happen to the gap? The gap will decrease, no? Because even if you are moving here, this is moving faster. So if you cover this much distance, this will cover more distance. So this gap has decreased. Can you see? Initially this was the gap. Now this is the gap. So my question to you is, how long this gap will keep decreasing? This gap will keep decreasing till your friend is moving faster than you. Understood or not, students? So now, as this is moving, these two are, remember, feeling this force continuously. So this will again slow down. This will become 6 meter per second. This will become maybe 4 meter per second. Tell me now, the gap will decrease or not decrease? Even now the gap will decrease. The separation will decrease. Why it will decrease? Because this is moving faster than this. But you know, after some time, this may become, let's say, 4.8. It has decreased to 4.8, and this has increased to 4.8. So now what happened? Now the velocities of these two, you and your friend, are equal. So that moment the gap will stop decreasing. Then what will happen? After that, this will start moving faster now. So this will become now, let's say, 6 meter per second. This was decreasing now from 10 meter per second, it started decreasing. So after this 4.8, it may become 3. So now you are moving faster, see, than your friend. You are moving faster than your friend. So now the gap will increase. So I hope all of you understood with this beautiful example which I have given, that when will the separation be minimum? The separation will be minimum when both of them will have what velocity, students? Same velocity. So very important point. The separation will be minimum when they have same velocity. Okay, why they will have same velocity? Because this will decrease, this velocity will decrease because of this ulta force, opposite force, and this velocity will increase because it is feeling a force this side. It was at rest now, students, initially, so it is feeling a force this side. So what will happen? It will start accelerating. Accelerating matlab its velocity will increase. So very soon what will happen? These two will have same velocity. So that time the gap will be what, students? Minimum. This is, let's say, minimum which we have to find. And that time what will be the velocity for both of them? Same. Let us call that v dash, v dash. In my example, what was this v dash? 4.8. Correct na? Okay. So now let us use law of conservation of mechanical energy between this initial situation and this final situation. Why I am calling this final? Because this distance is what we want, students. This distance between the particles, this is what we want. So let us write what is the kinetic energy here. Half mv square, right? What about this particle? It is at rest right now, so no kinetic energy. Potential energy right now is 0 because it is an infinite separation. Here what will be the kinetic energy? Half m v dash square. This is also moving same velocity, so it will be again half m v dash square, right? Let me adjust this. And since there is some distance between them, potential energy will be 1 by 4 pi epsilon naught q by r. Now in order to solve this, what you must find? V dash you must find, because the question, in the question you are given v, not v dash. So we have to find v dash. Any idea how to find v dash? Any idea how to find v dash? Well, to find v dash we will use LCOM. What is LCOM? Now some students may not be knowing. LCOM means law of conservation of momentum. Momentum. Why we can use? Because if I take this as my system, these are the two charges, right? Initially this is at rest. If I take this as the system, then whatever force is acting between them is internal force. Correct now? So there is no external force on this system. And if there is no external force on the system, momentum of the system must be conserved. You remember, right? So what is the momentum of this system? This is at rest, so zero momentum. What is the momentum of this? mv this side. So this is the initial momentum. What is the final momentum here? mv dash plus mv dash. So m will cancel, v dash will be v by 2 because this is 2v dash. Nah? So then you substitute v dash here. Then your answer will come. So this side what will you get? Half mv square. This side you will get half plus half will be 1. So m v dash square. V dash square is v by 2 whole square plus 1 by 4 pi epsilon naught q square by r. So I will now ask you to do this homework now yourself. Okay. So bring this side. Then you can easily find r like I have done till now. But the only difference here, students, was this v dash also you have to find. And how to find v dash? By using law of conservation of momentum, which says the total momentum of the system is conserved if there are no external forces on the system. So in this case, the two charges I took as system, and whatever forces are acting between them, that will be what force? Internal force. Therefore, you can use law of conservation of momentum because there are no external forces. Okay, so I hope you understood these two extra questions also. Let us see the next question now. Question number 44, you see. Three charges, capital Q, plus Q and minus small q, are placed at the vertices of a right angled isosceles triangle. So in isosceles, what will happen? These two sides will be equal. Okay. As shown in the figure. Well, the figure is not mentioned, so I will do it according to my own wish. Okay. So let me put capital Q here, small q here, and minus small q here. Okay, so what they are asking, the net potential energy of the system is 0 if capital Q is equal to how much? So they want capital Q in terms of small q. If you see the options, everywhere you will see small q. Okay, for what to happen? They want potential energy of the system to be 0. Now how to find potential energy of a system of charges? I told, find how many pairs are there. So you can see 3 pairs, one pair, and one pair, right students? So let us say this distance is x, then this distance also will be x because of isosceles triangle, and this will be from Pythagoras theorem root 2x, right? Now tell me potential energy of this pair. 1 by 4 pi epsilon naught q minus q divided by distance between them is x. For this pair it will be how much? 1 by 4 pi epsilon naught minus q plus q. So minus q plus q divided by this is also x, right? And the third pair is this. Let me write this common now because this will be there everywhere, right? So let me take it common. Then what will be this pair now? It will be 1 by 4 pi epsilon naught I took common q divided by distance between them is how much? Root 2x. So that should be equal to, according to question, 0. Then if you cross multiply, that will be 0. X you take common. So what will be left? Here minus capital Q small q. Here my plus minus is minus q square. And here plus capital Q small q by root 2. Right students? So that will be equal to 0. X you can take common. Now after taking common, you cross multiply with 0, you will get 0 only. One small q also I can take common and cancel, right? One small q. So what is left finally? Minus capital Q plus capital Q by root 2 minus small q equal to 0. Then let us take minus q this side, will become equal to capital Q, small q, sorry. So I took minus q this side. Okay. Then let me take capital Q common. So it will be minus 1 plus 1 by root 2 equals to q. Then let us solve this part now. So if you solve it, you will get, here you take LCM, so root 2, and this will be minus root 2 plus 1, that will be Q. So capital Q will be Q root 2 by minus root 2 plus 1. If you take minus common, it will be minus Q root 2 by root 2 minus 1. Because root 2 is greater than 1, no? So it is better to take minus common. So check which option it matches with. Minus 2Q. And now see, the reason why the answer is not matching is because maybe the diagram for which the question was given was not the one that I took, right? So you try for different situations. So at your home, you try this problem. Same thing you do. I don't know how I took. So 3 possibilities are there, right? Which are the charges? Capital Q. So let us say capital Q is here, small q is here, minus small q is here, x root 2x. So for this, I think I took this one, right? Because I wrote q minus q by x. No, minus q I took here, I think. That's clear. Then minus q qx and capital Q plus q root 2x. Yeah, this is one. I took this configuration. So for this is the right answer. Okay. Now you please try for other configurations also. Okay, others means maybe here you have minus q, here you have capital Q, here you have plus q. So try for this also. Similarly, you can try for my capital Q here, minus q here, plus q here. Okay, students. So try all this. I think this and this are same only, right? Because this pair will be x, yeah, this will be same. So try this one. So try this one and let me know if it matches with the options in the given question. So the reason why again why the answer is not matching is not because I did wrongly, I did correctly only, but the diagram that was not mentioned in our book. So either if this is the diagram, then this will be the right answer. Okay, but if this is the diagram, then you try that yourself. Same thing you have to do. For this pair, you find potential energy. For this pair, you find. For this pair, you find. Then add them. Algebraically, you have to add, remember. So the total potential energy, according to question they told, should be 0. Okay. Let us see question number 45 now. The variation of potential with distance r from the fixed point is shown in the figure. So they have given you a figure for potential versus distance. Distance r. Okay, they have written capital R, but let me write small r. The graph looks something like this. Okay, so this part is 2, this part is 4, this is 6, and this part is 5. Units are, this should be in volt, okay, and this is in meter. So what they want, listen carefully, they want electric field at r equal to 5 meter. So they want electric field at r equal to 5 meter. R equal to 5 meter means here they want. Here they want at this point. Okay, now for this what you should do, you should remember what is the relation between electric field and potential. So electric field is minus of dV by dr, right? I think I wrote dx, but that is because I assume potential is changing with x. Here potential is changing with small r, so I will write small r. Okay, students. Now graphically, what does this mean? I think I have already explained before in some problems. Dy by dx is nothing but slope of yx graph at a given point. So this minus dV by dr just represents slope of the VR graph. Okay, so actually it represents slope of tangent at a point, but since this graph is consisting of straight line, straight line, straight line, no need to draw tangent. So at which point they are asking? Here they are asking, so that means at this point. Now you can see anywhere here the slope will be constant now, because this is a straight line. So at this point r equal to 5, electric field will be minus of slope. right students? Slope you write. Now slope, how do you write? Y2 minus y1 by x2 minus x1 for straight lines. This is straight line, so v2 minus v1 by r2 minus r1, right? This is your y coordinate, this is your x coordinate. Now look carefully. What is v2? Let us take, see, I am taking this point and this point, okay, because anywhere here this line is straight now, so anywhere at any point slope will be constant because the graph is straight line. Understood? No? So what are the coordinates of this point? 4 comma 5. And what is the coordinate of this point? 6 comma 0. So what is v2? V is your xy coordinate, so v2, this is your r1 v1, this is your r2 v2, right? x1 y1 x2 y2. So what is, look carefully, v2 is 0 minus v1 is 5, r2 is 6 minus r1 is 4, correct now? So electric field is minus, here what will you get? Minus 5 by 2, so that will become plus 2.5, plus it will become, and what is the unit? Unit is volt per meter. Volt per meter. I hope everybody understood. What if, extra question you see, what if I ask electric field at r equal to 1 meter? At r equal to 1 meter means here na, so electric field will be minus of slope. How to find slope of this line, this graph? So y2 minus y1 by x2 minus x1, right? Or you can write directly opposite by adjacent also, so that is your wish. So 5 minus 0, 2 minus 0, so this will be minus 2.5. Okay, let me adjust this slightly. Yeah, and tell me what will be another extra question you see here in this box. Let me tell you what will be electric field at x equals to 3 meter here. So if you look at this point, when you go up here, this graph is horizontal, right? So your y2 and y1 matlab your v coordinate here and here are same. So if the graph is parallel to x-axis, slope will be 0, so it will be minus 0, which is nothing but 0 only. Okay students, so electric field here will be 0 because potential is constant in this region. So in this region your potential is constant, and if potential is constant, you know the electric field should be 0. Okay, let us see question number 46. Nisarga, if you remember, this was the question you asked me. Okay, some equipotential surfaces are shown in the figure. They want you to calculate electric field strength. Okay, so they've given you equipotential surfaces. Okay, this they are saying is x coordinate in centimeter, and this is your equipotential surfaces. Okay, this is your equipotential surfaces. What is the meaning of equipotential surfaces? Every point will be at same potential, and in the question they have given every point here is 10 volt, every point here is 20 volt, every point here is 30 volt, and this point has coordinate 5 centimeter, this has coordinate 10 centimeter, this has coordinate 15 centimeter, and these angles are everywhere 30 degree. So they want you to find the electric field. Now go back and remember what I taught you. What is the relation between electric field and equipotential surfaces? First relation is electric field is always from higher potential to lower potential. Second, electric field lines are perpendicular to equipotential surfaces. So this is your surfaces, so you have to draw perpendicular. Now question is this way or that way? Well, since it is from higher to lower, it must be like this. Okay, must be like this. So electric field line should be like this. Okay, everywhere, you can show everywhere if you want. Let me show it here. So what angle it makes with positive x-axis? This is your positive x-axis, this is the electric field. So the angle between them is clearly 120 degree. right students? So this is 30 degree na. So this is 30 means this will be how much? This is 90, so this will be 60. So if this is 60, remaining angle will be 120. Correct na? So electric field makes an angle of 120 degree. That direction we found. Now we have to find the magnitude. To find magnitude, what we will do? We will take 2 points. Let's say here A and here B. Why I am choosing those 2 points? Because I know the distance between them. So let me call this A to B as my D. D, if you remember. And since electric field is constant, since E is constant, uniform, I can use what formula for potential difference? Delta V modulus. Direction we don't want. Direction we know already. Is equals to E D cos theta. And this is potential difference between which points I have chosen? A and B. So this distance should be A and B. This is displacement from A to B. Correct na? So what is the potential difference between this point and this point? All these points are at 10 volt. All these points are at 20 volt. So potential difference magnitude will be 20 minus 10. Electric field we don't know. What is this distance? 10 minus 5. So 5 centimeter. If I convert in meter, it will be 5 by 100 meter, right? This distance. Cos. What was theta, students? Angle between displacement and E. So E is here, displacement is here. So the angle is 60 degree, or you can write 120 also, your wish. So you can write cos 60 or you can write 120 because I want only modulus, remember. So modulus, if I calculate cos 120 is also what? Modulus if I take, see cos 60 is how much? Cos 60 is half. Cos 120 is not same as half, it is minus half. But if I'm interested only in modulus, then answer will be half for both of them, right? And since I want only modulus, no, the direction I know already, students. So what? So I can write 60 degrees. So this is electric field. This is your displacement. So the angle is 60 degree. Okay, between this displacement and this electric field. If you take displacement here, A to B, then angle will be 120. Either way, answer in magnitude will be same. So this will be 10. This will be to 1 by 20, and this is cos 60 is half, right? So this will be 40 into E. So E will be 400. I am getting. I did any mistake? Potential difference is 20 minus 10. Electric field we have to find. D is this distance, which is 5 centimeter. I have to convert in meters, so 5 by 100, which is 5 2s are 10, 1 by 20. Cos 60 is 1 by 2, right? Cos 60 is 1 by 2. So if I write 1 by 2, it will be 1 by 40. So E will be 400 volt per meter. So which option it matches with? Option C, 400 volt per meter. At what angle? 120 degree with positive x-axis. Correct only, right students? Okay. Oh, sorry. The 400 is outside. Okay, let me just slightly adjust this. Yeah. So I hope everybody understood this problem. Simple. Let us see next question. So in the next question, what they are saying is, a solid insulating sphere of radius A carries a net positive charge capital Q1. So there is a solid insulating sphere and there is a total charge of Q1 here. Total charge here is Q1. Okay. Uniformly distributed throughout its volume. So everywhere the charge is uniformly distributed and total charge is Q1. Concentric with this sphere. Concentric means what? Centers should coincide. Concentric with this sphere is a conducting spherical shell. So this is a conducting shell with inner radius. So I have to draw like this because they told inner radius and outer radius. No, so inner radius is B, inner radius B, outer radius is C. And this sphere has a radius of A. This sphere has a radius of A. The inner one has a radius of A. Okay, students? an outer radius C and having a net charge Q2. This has a net charge Q2. Q2 is the net charge. Question is then, if you look at the options, they are saying charge on both inner and outer surfaces of the conducting shell is Q1. So they want charge on inner and outer surfaces of this shell. Already we have discussed, if you remember, right? Already we have discussed these concepts. Yes or no? So this total charge here is Q1, and you know that Q1 will induce here minus Q1. Already I have explained many times, so I will not waste time. And since it is minus Q1, but total charge of this should be Q2, na? Because Q2 was the net charge given to this shell. And since this shell is isolated, total charge should be conserved. So if this induces minus Q1 here, outside it must induce plus Q1. But total charge should be how much? Q2, so outer shell should have Q1 plus Q2. So that is the answer. Okay, inner one will have minus Q1, outer one will have Q1 plus Q2. Already we have discussed, so let us not waste too much time. So option D. 48 is a very good question, students, and I think even 48 we have discussed in one of the extra questions which I was doing in last video. So listen carefully. Figure shows two conducting thin concentric shells of radii R and 3R. So there are two conducting shells of radii R and 3R. Okay. Question number 48. The outer shell carries a charge Q. So this has a charge Q. And the inner shell is neutral. Right now it is neutral. Okay, no charge. The amount of charge that flows from the inner shell to the earth after the key K is closed is equal to 1 by n of the charge on the outer shell. So if you look at here, this inner one is connected to ground through a key. So right now the key is open. So if the key is open, this will be isolated, right? Isolated sphere. So right now total charge here is 0, so it will remain 0. Now you don't say it will induce any charge because this has no charge. No, inside one has no charge, so this cannot induce any charge here. So right now in this situation, what is the charge on this? 0 charge on this Q. Right now, the moment you close the key, how much charge will flow to the ground, that we have to find. So let me assume Q dash charge flow to the ground. If Q dash charge flows to the ground, this must induce here minus Q dash charge. Yes or no, students? Think about this, why it is like that. If you lose positive, if a neutral body which has 0 charge, if it loses 2 coulomb, then it must become minus 2 coulomb, right? Yes or no? Total charge is conserved. So if it loses 2 coulomb, it must have now minus 2 coulomb charge. So if I say Q dash charge flows to the ground from the sphere, then the sphere will have how much charge now? Minus Q dash. Because of this minus Q dash, it will induce plus Q dash on the inner surface. Plus Q dash, and outer one will be Q plus Q dash. Understood? So this will be the arrangement now. Now, how to find Q dash? Very simple. The inner one is connected to ground, and I told you ground has a huge capacity. It is the biggest conductor on earth. Earth will be the biggest conductor. So any charge given to the earth or any charge taken from the earth will not change its potential by a large amount. It is like sea level. If you put water, 1 cup of water in sea, or you take 1 cup of water, the level of the sea doesn't change. That's why we take sea level as reference to measure height of mountains and all. Similarly, ground we have chosen besides infinity. Infinity also we have chosen as a point where potential is 0. But besides infinity, ground is also a very nice reference point where we choose potential to be 0. So since this sphere, which is a conductor, is connected to ground, okay, the potential of this point A, total potential I am talking about, net potential of A must be 0. Understood? Okay, because it is connected to ground, so potential of this point should be same as ground. For ground we take 0 volt, so for this sphere also it will be 0 volt. Now how this potential will be 0 volt? Who will produce potential here? The charge on this shell and charge on this shell. So what will be the potential due to this shell? This point is where? On the surface of this shell. So what is the formula for potential on the surface? 1 by 4 pi epsilon naught charge on the shell divided by radius of the shell. Radius of the shell is small r. Correct, students? Okay. Then who will also produce potential here? This shell. Now you look carefully. This q dash and this this will be minus q dash, sorry, because this is minus q dash, no, so it will induce plus q dash, so other side will be minus q dash, because total charge of this must be q, because this is isolated, remember this is not connected to ground, so total charge of this must be q. But because we know this outer face and this inner face, if this is q, here you must have minus q, right? You remember, right? Gauss law I told, if you make a Gaussian surface passing through this shell inside the material, then you know inside the material of conductor everywhere electric field is 0, so flux through the closed surface should be 0. What is electric flux through closed surface? Integral E dA cos theta. Remember, right, students? If E is 0 everywhere, flux through this dot dot surface which I have shown, flux through this surface should be also 0. But from Gauss law, if electric flux through a closed surface is 0, charge inside should be also 0, inside this. Which means if this is q, this must be minus q. Similarly, if this is minus q, this must be plus q. And opposite side, outer side will have minus q. Understood? No? Okay. So these things we have already discussed. You have to revise, okay? Otherwise, you will not understand this kind of problems. Okay. So what is this? This is potential due to this charge, minus q dash charge. Okay. Now these charges will also produce potential at A. Nah? At any point, potential is produced by whatever charges are present. That is how you calculate potential at a point when there are multiple charges, by using superposition principle. So the charges are what? See, this minus q dash, this plus q dash, this q, and this minus q dash. But this minus q dash and this plus q dash, they will cancel their potentials. So no need to worry about potential due to q dash here and potential due to minus q dash here, because those two will cancel. So what will be left? Only this q. So what will be potential at point A? Remember, due to this shell. Where is this point? For this shell, where is this point? Inside. And you know, inside a shell, potential will be same as on its surface. So on the surface of this shell, potential will be 1 by 4 pi epsilon naught. Charge on this shell is q by radius of this shell. Remember, I want potential here. See, if I want potential here, radius r, what charge q, what is the answer for potential here on the surface? 1 by 4 pi epsilon naught q by r. Inside, what is the potential? Same. That is the beauty, because electric field inside the shell is 0. Remember, na? Okay. So potential produced by this shell at this point should be same as on its surface. So it will be q divided by radius of this shell. What is radius of this shell? 3r. So that should be 0. Then this and this can be cancelled, because you can take it that side. So you will get q dash by r equals to q by 3r. R also cancels, so q dash will be q by 3. So how much charge flows to the ground? Q by 3. It came positive. Okay, students? So in the option, in the question they told 1 by n of the charge on the outer shell. Or outer shell has how much total charge if you calculate? Q, na? So 1/3 of capital Q flows to the ground. So what should be n? So in the question they told the charge which flows to the ground is 1 n of the charge on the outer shell. So what should be n? N should be 3. Right? Okay. So I hope you all understood this problem. So in such problem, students, whenever any conductor is connected to ground, potential of that conductor should be 0. So the charges will always arrange themselves in such a way that the the total potential of the conductor which is connected to ground, that potential of that conductor which is connected to ground, not other conductors, potential of the conductor which is connected to ground must be 0. Why? Because once you connect any conductor to ground with a wire which is also conductor, the whole thing becomes one conductor now. And you know, for a conductor, potential everywhere is constant. So what is the potential of ground? We have taken it to be 0. So potential of that conductor which is connected to ground also should be 0. Okay, students? Without, see, some of you may be thinking this is your inner conductor, nah? This is your outer conductor. In the question, outer conductor was given Q charge. Inner one was neutral. If you connect this to ground, some of you may be thinking, why is charge going here? Why it is going? Why it should go? Why should the charge go down? Because this is neutral. Usually what we have studied before, if positive charge is connected to ground, this positive charge will run this side. But if neutral is connected to ground, why should the charge go this way? It has to go, students. If it doesn't go, then how will the potential of this point be 0? Look carefully. This point, let us say, is A. Okay, now since you are connecting this to ground, potential of this point should be how much? Same as ground. And for ground, how much we take? 0. So potential of point A should be 0. Who will produce potential at A? This charge, if there is no charge here, this charge only will produce. But this charge will produce how much potential? 1 by 4 pi epsilon naught Q by 3R. Yes or no? Potential due to this shell at this point, which is where? Inside the shell. So inside the shell, potential will be same as on the surface of the shell. And on the surface of the shell, we use radius of the shell. So this is not 0, no, but it has to be 0. So the only way nature will allow this point to have 0 volt is by allowing some charges to go down. If some charges will go down from this conductor, then this conductor will acquire negative charge. Now potential here will be due to this negative charge and due to this positive charge. Q dash by R. Now you can see it can be 0. No? Now it can be 0 because minus sign is there. And how it can be 0? We'll rearrange and find. So by allowing some charges to go here, potential at this point can become 0. Otherwise, there is no chance. So please understand, whenever a conductor is connected to ground, potential of that conductor has to be 0 and charges will rearrange themselves to make the potential of the conductor connected to ground 0. Let's see 49. AB and CD are two large non-parallel metallic plates connected to a battery. So AB and CD are two large plates, but they are not parallel. Okay, 49. And it is connected to a battery. Every battery will have some potential difference. This V represents potential difference. Matlab potential of this minus potential of this. So if this is 10 volt, this is 0 volt, potential difference will be 10 minus 0, 10 volt. Okay, one example I have taken. They are asking if sigma A and sigma B be the charge densities at A and B. So here charge density is sigma A, here it is sigma B. Then which one is greater or are they equal? They are asking. Now very simple question. Listen carefully. This is one conductor connected to high potential of the battery. So if this is 10 volt, all these points will be 10 volt, 10 volt, like that. And if this is 0 volt, all these points will be 0 volt, 0 volt, like that. Okay students, or if you say this is 2 volt, everywhere it will be 2 volt, 2 volt. So potential difference between this and this will be same as between this and this. So potential difference between these two will be same as between these two. So potential difference is constant. Okay. Now what is potential difference? E into D. Remember or not this formula? Now E into D should be constant, but you can see this D is smaller, this D is larger. So wherever D is more, E will be less. Right? So here D is less. So E here should be more. So electric field here should be more than here. So if I write here E1, here it will be E2. So where will be electric field more? Sorry, where will be electric field less? Wherever D is more. So here D is more. So electric field here will be less. Here electric field will be more. So E1 will be greater than E2. Now what is the formula for electric field due to parallel plates? Sigma by epsilon naught. Remember, right? And this small piece and this small piece can be taken approximately parallel, this and this. So E is sigma by epsilon naught. So E is proportional to sigma. That means sigma 1 should be greater than sigma 2. So sigma here should be more. Matlab sigma B should be greater than sigma A. So please understand, if the plates are not parallel, the charge will not spread uniformly. Wherever the distance is less, the charge will be more concentrated. That's why sigma B has to be larger than sigma A. Okay. So all this happened why? Because potential difference should be constant. Why it should be constant? Because this is one conductor connected to higher potential of battery. This is one conductor connected to lower potential of battery. In conductor, potential is constant, already we know. So everywhere here potential is constant. Everywhere here potential is constant. So potential difference here and potential difference here should be constant. That means electric field into distance between them should be constant. But this distance is larger. So this electric field will be smaller. This distance is smaller, so electric field will be larger. But electric field is produced by charges on this plate. And formula for electric field, if you remember, was sigma by epsilon naught for conductor. So wherever electric field is more, surface charge density will be more. Where is electric field more? Wherever, see, if you want electric field to be more, then distance between the plates should be small. So here distance between the plates is small because it is non-parallel, na? So here distance is small, electric field will be more. If electric field is more, sigma will be more here. So sigma B will be greater than sigma A. Which option is this? Sigma B is greater than sigma A. Option B. Option B. Okay. Let's see the next question now. So if you see, most of the problems are based on the idea that a conductor is a equipotential body. Matlab every point of conductor should be at same point, same potential. Sorry. See question number 50. The radii of two metallic spheres are 5 centimeter. One is 5 centimeter and the other is 10 centimeter. And both carry equal charges, 75 microcoulomb, 75 microcoulomb. So can you tell me which one will be higher potential? Charge is same, but this radius is less. So potential here will be what? 1 by 4 pi epsilon naught q by r. So potential is inversely proportional to radius if charge is same. So charge on both of them are same. So potential here will be more than here, remember. Okay. Now, if the two spheres are shorted here means you have connected a conducting wire. So short circuit usually, sometimes when sparks and all occur, we say short circuit happen. What that means is positive and negative wire are directly joined. Okay. So if this and this are connected with a wire which is called shorted, then question they are asking is then charge will be transferred. How much charge will be transferred, they are saying. Why will charge be transferred? Because this point is right now at higher potential, this point is at lower potential. So some charge will pass like this, some charge will flow. Let me say the charge which flows is q dash. So that charge we have to find. Now let us remember, how long will the charge flow? Think, how long will the charge flow? The charge will flow till the potential of both of them become same. So what will happen is, after equilibrium is reached, okay, this will have some charge q1, this will have some charge q2, right? Because some charges are coming now. So this will be 75 plus q dash, and this will be 75 minus q dash. So let me write q1, q2, and these two will now have same potential. So what is the potential here? 1 by 4 pi epsilon naught q1 by this radius. This radius is 5 centimeter. And what is the potential here? This radius is 10 centimeter. Nah? So potential here will be 1 by 4 pi epsilon naught q2 by 10 centimeter. I wrote centimeter because centimeter can be cancelled. 1 by 4 pi epsilon naught can be cancelled. So q1 by q2 will be 5, you send this side. So 5 by 10 will be 1 by 2. Okay, this is clear everyone? Okay, so initially what was the charge? 75 microcoulomb, here 75 microcoulomb. Now what is the charge? q1 here, q2 here, because some charge has gone this side. Now using conservation of charge, what does conservation of charge say? Tell me the statement. The total charge of an isolated system remains constant. So can I say this and this should have same charge? No, because this is not isolated. This is connected to this conductor, right? So how can you say this charge will remain constant? It will not be constant. Once you connect it to this conductor, some charge has flown. So you cannot say total charge of this will be constant. But if you take both as system, both, then you can see this system is isolated. No, there is no outside bodies interacting with these two bodies. They are only interacting. So total charge of this should be equal to this. So what is the total charge of this? 75 plus 75 microcoulomb. That should be equal to q1 plus q2. Correct? Yes or no, students? Yes or no? Everybody understood, right? The total charge of this should be equal to total charge of this. No, suppose I have 75 rupees, you have 75 rupees. I am giving you 10 rupees. So now I will have 65 rupees. You will have 85 rupees. So I don't have same money. My 75 rupees became 65 rupees. Your 75 rupees became 85 rupees. But total money is still same, because we are not destroying the money in the problem, right? Total charge of the system should be conserved. So this will give you 150 microcoulomb should be q1 plus q2. Correct? 150 microcoulomb should be q1 plus q2. So after solving all this, what we have found is, we have found the ratio of the charges q1 and q2 after equilibrium has reached. After equilibrium has reached means after the two conductors have same potential. So q1 by q2 is half, and q1 plus q2, how much we got? 150 microcoulomb. And last time I told you, if you know ratio and sum, how to find the values directly. So q1 will be 1, sum of 2 and 1 will be third of this total, right? So try to simplify, or you can cross multiply and substitute here. So this is the charge on the smaller sphere, which will be 3 5s are 15, 50 microcoulomb. And what should be q2? Put this 50 here, then 50 will go this side, 100. So these are the charges after equilibrium has reached. So initially what was the charge here? 75 microcoulomb, 75 microcoulomb. after you connect it to the after you connect these to each other through a conducting wire, what happened? Charges will flow till they will have same potential. So now what is the charge on this? 50. Now what is the charge of this? 100. So now tell me how much charge has flown. How much charge should flow? 20 microcoulomb should flow, right? If 75 loses 20 microcoulomb, it will be 50. And if 75, sorry, it should be 25. Am I right or not? 20 or 25? 25. So if 75 loses 25 microcoulomb, it should be 50. And if 75 gets 25, it will be 100. So this is the answer. So this much charge has flown from smaller sphere to bigger sphere. Okay, students? So what is the right answer? Option A. Last question is regarding the drops question, which we have already done. So please try yourself. Okay. After this, we will start the JEE questions. So we will do now JEE questions. Question number 31 we will do. A thin long wire has uniform linear charge density lambda, meaning charge per unit length. These two you don't see right now. Okay, I will discuss this later. Now consider 2 points A and B which are at perpendicular distance from the wire RA and RB. You can see electric field lines will be this way for a linear charge. Electric field lines. Yes or no, students? Positive charge it is. So this will be at higher potential, this will be at lower potential. So they are asking what is the potential difference between A and B. So VA minus VB. So this will be at higher potential, this will be at lower potential. This we have already done while discussing entrance concept. So the formula was lambda by 2 pi epsilon naught log base E RB by RA. So this will be option B. Okay, option B. In the question I can see they are saying VB minus VA. Okay, please make it VA minus VB. If you want VB minus VA, then minus sign should come here, minus sign. So this is the answer for this. We have done this already. Okay, we have done. So please see the solution. So this is very useful. Now based on this formula, see the next question. This question has come in KVPY also. Question number 32. At a distance L from a uniformly, so let me keep it like this. At a distance L from a uniformly charged long wire, a charged particle is thrown radially outward with a velocity u, small u, in the direction perpendicular to the wire. So there is a line charge. Okay, at a distance L from this point, let me call A, they are throwing a charge particle away from the line charge perpendicular to this wire. So perpendicular means you can throw this way with velocity u. Okay, so this is a charge particle. Let us say the charge is q. Now when the particle reaches a distance 2L from the wire, its speed becomes root 2u. So when it reaches another point B here, which is at a distance 2L, they said the speed of the particle is now root 2u. Okay, that is what they told, right? Yeah. So they want you to find magnitude of the velocity, matlab speed, when it is at a distance 4L away from the wire. When it is at a distance 4L away from the wire. So let me take another point C. At a distance 4L from the wire. Okay, students, so here they want you to find the speed. So let us say the speed here is Vc, which is question mark. Now if you look carefully, the speed is increasing. Why speed is increasing? Because electric field is this side, no? Electric field for a wire is this side, away from this positive charge. Correct now, students? So as you go away, as this charge goes this way, this electric field will exert force this way. So the speed is increasing, you can see. They are asking speed here. So how will we do this? The general rule is whenever you know speed at one point and you want to find speed at another point, always use law of conservation of mechanical energy if the forces are conservative forces. You can see the only force acting on this charge is the force by this electric field, which is electrostatic force. So we can use law of conservation of mechanical energy. So look carefully. Using L. Comey. What is L. Comey? Law of conservation of mechanical energy. Between A and B, let us use first. Between A and B. So kinetic energy here, half mass, let us say, is m, velocity here is u, plus potential energy here. Now I don't know don't write mgh, okay? Mgh is gravitational potential energy. In this problem they told gravity is 0, neglect gravity. So no question of gravitational potential energy, but this charge at this point will have some electrostatic potential energy. And if potential is V at a point, then what is the meaning of this potential? It is a work done to bring unit charge from infinity to that point. If you bring Q charge, what will be the work done? This much. And that is what we call potential energy at that point. So I hope all of you remember this theory part. So potential energy at this point I can write Q into VA. What is VA? Potential at this point. So that should be equal to kinetic energy here, half m. What is the velocity here? Root 2u. So root 2u square plus potential energy here will be how much? Q into potential at this point, VB. Correct? Okay. So if you simplify, take this QVA this side, bring this side. So it will be half m u square common. Here 1 will be left. Here root 2 square will be minus 2, right? So this will be equal to Q into VB minus VA. Correct now students? I took QVA this side. Now 1 minus 2 will be minus 1. So this will be minus. Okay. Now why minus sign is coming? Because VA is at higher potential. No, electric field is this side. So let me interchange this. Let me write VA here, VB here. Then this minus will become plus. So finally what I have found is half mu square is equal to Q into VA minus VB. Potential here minus potential here. And formula for that just now I told lambda by 2 pi epsilon naught log base E, this RB minus RA. Remember, no, RB divided by RA. Right, students, this one I have done just 1 minute back. So RB means this distance, which is 2L. So RB is 2L, RA is L. So this will be log 2. Correct now? So finally, let me mention it here. So half mu square is coming equal to how much? Q lambda by 2 pi epsilon naught log 2 base A. Okay, so keep this in mind. Now we have to find velocity here, remember. So let us now use L-Comey, law of conservation of mechanical energy, between A and C. Let us use A and C. Any 2 points you can use because total mechanical energy is conserved throughout the motion. So between A and C, what is the kinetic energy at A? Half mu square. Potential energy Q into potential at A. Please remember this formula. And what is the kinetic energy here? Half m Vc square. Potential energy here Q into Vc. Remember Vc we want. Okay students? So this will become now half m u square plus Q. Let us bring this side. So Va minus Vc half m Vc square. Right? So now we will substitute for this VA minus VC, right? We know the formula for potential difference. So it will be half mu square plus q. What was this formula? Lambda by 2 pi epsilon naught log of base E RC by RA. Remember, no? Equal to half m VC square. So this is the formula that we know for potential difference between 2 points for a charged wire. Okay, students. So what is RC? Distance of C from the wire, that is 4L. So this is 4L. And RA is distance of A from the wire, which is L. So this is nothing but log 4. So in place of this, I can write log 4. Okay. Now, how do I now solve this equation? Let us call this equation 1 and this equation. Look here. Log 4, I can also write 2 power 2. Right? This 4 I can write 2 power 2. And you know property of log, right? Log of x power 2 is 2 log x also. So this 2 can be written here. So now I don't think this diagram is needed. So let me remove this diagram. Okay, now you see this part. Half mu square plus this 2 I can bring here. So it will be 2 into q lambda by 2 pi epsilon naught log 2 base E, and remaining part is half m VC square. Right, students? Same thing I wrote, just this 2 I brought here. Now you see this quantity we have found already in equation 1. This quantity you see here, q lambda by 2 pi epsilon naught log 2 base E, log 2 base E. What is this? Half mu square. So I can write half mu square plus 2 into, what is this? Half mu square. That should be equal to half m VC square. Right? So now you can see easily half m cancels. So u square plus 2u square will be 3u square will be VC square. So VC will be what? Root 3u. So VC will be root 3 times u. So which is the right option? Option A. Option A. It's a beautiful question. Thus you should know formula for potential difference between 2 points when there is a line charge, long line charge, infinitely long line charge. Okay. Formula is lambda by 2 pi epsilon naught log of RA by RB, or you can say RB by RA. That depends on which 2 points. Okay, now let us see the next question. Question number 33. A solid sphere of radius capital R is charged uniformly. Question number 33. Solid sphere is there which is charged uniformly. Solid sphere, okay, not shell. They are saying at what distance from its surface? At what distance from its surface they are saying? X, let us say. At what distance from its surface the potential will be half of the potential at the center. So potential here, let us say this point is P. So potential here should be half of potential at center. This is the center C. Okay, and in terms of what is the option? In terms of radius, capital R. What is capital R? Radius of the sphere. Now for this you should know what is the formula outside and inside potential of a charged sphere. That's why I wrote this formula. So if you want potential outside here, then it is very easy. 1 by 4 pi epsilon naught total charge by small r. What is small r? Distance from center to the observation point. This is for potential outside. For inside, you have a very completely different formula, which I have already derived. Now, what will be potential at center of the sphere? Potential at center. So center is a point which is inside or outside, obviously inside. So to find potential at center, I should use first formula or second formula? Second formula. What is small r? Distance of the point from the center. But right now I want potential at center itself. So if this point is not here but at the center, your small r will be 0. So put small r 0, what will you get? Potential at the center will be q by small r will be 0. So it will be 3 divided by 3q divided by 8 pi epsilon naught r, which if you remember is 3 by 2 times potential on the surface. Because on the surface potential will be q by 4 pi epsilon naught capital R. This is 8 na, so 2 into 4 will give you 8. This you remember, right? Potential on the surface is how much? 1 by 4 pi epsilon naught capital Q by capital R on the surface. So all this we have already done. Don't worry about this part right now. So all this we have done already. Please check the formulas. Now come to this question. They are asking, there is a solid uniformly charged sphere, not shell. So don't think of formulas of shell. Think of formulas of solid sphere. They are asking at what point potential will be half of potential at the center. And where is this point? Outside, because they asked how far from the surface. Okay students, now what is the formula for potential here? 1 by 4 pi epsilon naught. Let us say this distance is small r from center to this point. Then since it is outside, I can use this formula, q by r. Potential at the center is how much? 3 by 2 times potential on the surface, or directly you remember this formula. So 3q by 8 pi epsilon naught r. So this I can write 2 into 4 also, right? So 4 pi epsilon naught cancel. Q also cancel. So 1 by r will be 3 by 4 capital R. Cross multiply. So 3 small r will be 4 capital R. So small r will be 4r by 3. So at this distance from the center, potential will be half of potential at center. But they asked from the surface. So if you want x, what will you do? This x, if you want from the surface, if you want, what will you do? Small r minus capital R. Right students? Small r is from center, x is from surface. If they want from center, this is the answer. But they want from the surface. So x they want. So small r is how much we found? 4r by 3 minus r. That will be r by 3. So answer is capital R by 3. Which is the right option? Option C. Last question for today we will do. Question number 34 you check. As I keep rubbing, no, you should check the question. Okay, what it is given. Some of you can start solving also. So see question number 34. A large solid sphere with uniformly distributed positive charge has a smooth tunnel through its center. So there is a large solid sphere which is uniformly charged, and there is a tunnel through its center. There is a tunnel. Okay. Now they are saying a small particle with negative charge, initially at rest far from the sphere, approaches it along the line of the tunnel, reaches its surface with a speed v, and passes through the tunnel. What will be its speed at the center of the sphere? So very interesting question. This is a solid positively charged sphere. Okay, so don't think of formulas of shell. Very far from here. Now in physics when they say very far, you can take it as infinity. There is a negative charge, minus q. Okay, negative charge minus q. And this negative charge starts from rest and it gets attracted towards this positive charge and it starts moving along the line of the tunnel. as it comes, when it reaches the surface here, it has a velocity they told v. Question is, when it reaches the center, let us call this point A, let us call this point A, let us call this point S for surface, and this point C. So they want velocity here, vc they want. Again students, whenever you want velocity at one point and velocity at another point is mentioned, then always use law of conservation of mechanical energy. So look carefully now. Listen to me carefully. Let us use LCOM May law of conservation of mechanical energy between A and C. Oh, sorry, S and C. S and C. Okay. So here, what is the kinetic energy? Half mv square. Right? What is the potential energy here? This charge is negative, remember, minus q. So it will be minus q into potential at the surface. Right? Let me rub this one. Later I will show you. There was a reason why I wrote this, but maybe we don't have time to do this today. So this is how we write kinetic energy. We know half mv square. Potential energy, how to write at any point. Potential energy, you write charge, whichever charge it is, including the sign, because you are writing potential energy. So potential energy is charge into potential at that point produced by this source charge equals to, what is the kinetic energy here? Half m vc square plus potential energy here will be how much? Charge, which is minus, into potential here will be vc. Okay, so now if you try to simplify this, it will be half m v square, it will be minus q vs. I can write potential on the, if you remember, potential at the center is 3 by 2 times potential on the surface. Yes or no, students? This one you remember, right? Just before I told. So potential at the surface I can write 2 by 3 times potential at the center. Or maybe I can write this, let me keep it as Vs only, equals to half m Vc square minus q, and potential at center I can write 3 by 2 potential at surface. Equation 1. Okay. So right now you see Vs is there, Vs is there, that is good for us. But Vc, V. Now answer of this is the question, no? To find velocity at the center. And this Vc should be in terms of only V. Okay. So now what we'll do, we'll take this minus q that side. So half mv square will be equal to half mvc square minus q 3 by 2 vs, and if I take this side, it will become plus qvs, right? Then I can write half mv square equal to half m vc square. This is minus 3 by 2, this is plus 1, right? So let me take plus qvs common. It will be minus 3 by 2 plus 1. So it will be minus 1 by 2, right students? It will be 2 minus 3 plus 2, right? LCM and all you should be able to tell. Okay, so this will be minus 1 by 2. Minus 1 by 2. So till here I found, but still I don't want this Vs. So what I will do, keep this as equation 1. Now try to develop one more equation. Let me keep this here. So let us use again LCOME using law of conservation of mechanical energy, but we will use between now A and S. Between A and S, because this one already we have written in terms of S. Okay students, fine, this is equation 1. So between A and S, use law of conservation of energy. What is the kinetic energy here? 0, because it starts from rest. Potential energy here also 0. Why? Because it is at infinity. Very far in physics means infinity only. When it reaches the surface, what is the kinetic energy? Half m v square. Potential energy minus q into vs. So from here you can see q into vs is nothing but half mv square. Understood? No, this is kinetic energy at A. This is potential energy at A. This is kinetic energy at S. This is potential energy at S. This is called law of conservation of mechanical energy. Fine, students? Okay. Now you see, we have already found QVS. So let us substitute this QVS here. Okay, so what will I get? Equation 1 will become half mv square equals half mvc square minus half, in place of QVS what I can write, half mv square. Correct? No? Okay. So let us take common and cancel. Half m, half m, half m, common, cancel. So this is v square equal to vc square minus vc square by 2. Bring minus vc square by 2 this side. So it will become 3 v square by 2 equal to vc square, right? V square by 2 you bring this side. 1 plus half will be 3 by 2. So finally what will be vc? Root 3 by 2 times v. So velocity at the center will be, it's not visible, right? Okay. So velocity, take square root both sides. So velocity at the center will be root 3 by 2 times v. What was v? The velocity when it reaches the surface. So which option is the right one? Option D, because 1.5. No, 3 by 2 is nothing but 1.5. So this is the answer. Okay, students. So we'll stop for today. See you in the next video. Okay. Thank you.